Hey, welcome to the Scott Patrick Show. I'm here with additional panelist Bill Huff from Huff Real Estate Group. Bill's been on for the last three episodes, and we're just continuing our discussion from the previous episode. And we've had a lot of different developments over the last week or so, and all of it kind of ties into what we've been talking about in building your business empire and being able to structure it the right way, and how it starts to evolve once you start getting projects in. And the opportunities for that expansion and that growth is what's a good word for it? Expansive,
Yeah,
ever
absolutely.
expanding, something along those lines. But I think in our last episode we were talking about Project M, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
I submitted an offer through Bill as a real estate agent to uh, uh, put an offer in on that project, and we had quite a discussion a few days ago, and we are kind of wondering we should have recorded this because
Yeah.
it really kind of went down everything that we've been talking about in building your empire and being able to have the structure there, and how different things evolve out of that. And one of the things that evolved out of that discussion was to be able to open a brokerage, right? And you don't, in the state of Texas, you don't have to. You can open a brokerage, but you don't have to be a broker, but you have to have a broker on staff for the paperwork for the state of Texas to be able to oversee the agents and make sure that things are being done the proper way. But that kind of grew out of this project and how to be able to have from episode one multiple streams of income. You know, you want to be able to get paid a number of different times on the same project every month. So being able to with this particular project, one of the exit strategies is to build the townhomes and build up. We call it vertical construction. The horizontal construction is everything that's underground. So this is a vacant property. So we would be doing the horizontal construction with the developer and then the vertical construction with the townhomes. And then after that is done, we would sell those units. And we started to talk about, well, this goes into additional streams of income and keeping things in the house, in the empire. Sometimes, the money has to go out to other individuals. You got an attorney, you got other things. Even that, you can have an attorney on staff and keep things in house.
Mhm.
But with this, uh, it's such a major part of the structure of the empire that it makes a lot of sense to be able to develop this. And since that particular project is going to be what, Bill, 18 months or so before the
Yes,
thing's completed, we've
roughly.
got the time to be able to get that thing spun up with a new LLC, get the paperwork in. So once those units start to be completed, my own brokerage can list the properties, and we have one of the units as an office where we have people come in, and we're talking about we're in a golf cart and we're taking people to the different properties and we just have a couple agents that are on staff with say Bill as the broker, and you're just selling units. You have a constant open house every day of the week,
Yeah,
and you get those units sold. and Bill, we were both kind of feeding off. Bill and I feed off each other every once in a while.
which can be very dangerous at times.
It can be kind of dangerous at
In a good
times.
way, in a good way.
Yeah. But Bill, share a little bit about your thoughts as we were kind of having that discussion about the brokerage and how that kind of fits into the project, and then we can kind of get on to another subject with like the um uh, being able to help people to be able to find the funding for things, because that's another big aspect of this particular project that I'm
It
working
is.
on.
It's a huge one. And if I could kind of go back to your opening comments, uh, this week I was at a local real estate kind of meetup. Uh,
I
and
like those meetups.
yeah, I went there to network, which is what what we all need to be doing. And I met, saw a friend there, and he was there primarily to learn about syndications, how to be a general partner.
Mhm.
And so, you can, as we all know, you can only learn so much from someone speaking at a conference about being a general partner.
Yeah, yep.
When it's a whole new world when you go to apply it, because you start to get into what you had mentioned, how to structure this, how, even from that perspective, because there are many different perspectives on this one project. And if we zoom in and look at a general partner, that's a whole somewhat of an ecosystem in itself. And so, which requires, could potentially require bring in multiple sources of income.
Mhm.
You may need to structure it from a business wise with different entities, how money's going to flow, especially if it's new construction, where the buyer is going to be funding the build out. Uh, there's a money flow there.
Yep.
So I just I when you mentioned that, I just remembered that discussion. And people go to these conferences looking to learn how to be a general partner, which I understand everyone starts that way, but uh, applying it takes on a whole new world.
Yeah,
Um,
it's sort of like going to college, right? Yeah, in
it,
college they kind of teach you the basic things, but once you actually get hired, they reteach you
right,
in their own way, and you're in the real world at that point in time. You're not reading out of a textbook.
right,
It could be a good guidance, but it's not real life experience.
right.
It takes on another
It's
whole avenue. Yeah.
right. It's a difference between theory and practical application.
There
Uh,
you go. I like
yeah,
that one. Theory and
yeah.
practical application. Write that down. That
Uh,
don't worry, the
but
AI will do it for us.
uh, so yeah, we were talking about this, the property management, or well, a couple of different things. I do want to, if we get to property management as well,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
another in-house
Yeah, we
piece.
talked about that in that same discussion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So on the brokerage, that discussion also, from a big picture point of view, gets into how do you plan to exit this project? And so the exit typically should be identified prior to purchase of the project. And
Mhm.
that's a critical point. You got to know how are you going to exit the project before you acquire it. And
Exit strategy is something that anybody, even when you're doing private investor funding, Avenue B, uh, they want to know, well, how are you going to exit out of the strategy so I get my money back?
right,
So you have to have a strategy involved with that. This particular strategy, and talking about an exit strategy, this particular project has an exit strategy. We want to sell the properties. That's the main goal.
right,
But when you're talking about a number of different townhome units in one particular project, they all can't be sold within a month or 2 months. It's going to take a longer period of time to get rid of that inventory.
right,
So, so in doing so, uh, uh, my exit strategy for this project that we're talking about is to sell one, to sell the properties, two, to be able to lease those properties until they're sold,
Right. Yes.
or lease them and sell them while they're being leased. Because there
Yes.
are some investors out there that want to be able to purchase rental properties that are already leased.
Right.
So they don't have to worry about getting somebody in there right away. They're already leased, so the flow just goes that way. So in talking with doing the brokerage, um, both exit strategies come into play with that
Yes.
because the brokerage is listing the properties, so we're selling the properties that we can sell. But if somebody doesn't really want to purchase, we can lease that property, and
Right.
then we can still sell the property.
Right.
It's just down the road, but what that's doing is it's bringing in more revenue and cash flow for the project at the time, which is also part of the exit strategy. So
Right.
we're gaining revenue from the leases. We're also selling the properties through a period of time, and I figure it might take a year maybe to
Yes.
be able to get rid of all those townhomes, but
Mhm.
we have the time to be able to do that. That's
Absolutely.
that's all figured into the equation.
Uh,
But go
uh,
go ahead, Bill. Keep
uh,
going.
uh,
I just want I know I did
no,
put
no,
you in
no.
my
This
two
is
cents
good
there.
dialogue. A key piece of information would be in this particular project, we're talking duplexes, but each unit, each townhome is platted individually. So
Yes.
that's giving the seller the opportunity, the flexibility to sell off each townhome individually, which is huge.
Hmm.
That's a huge uh, uh, fu future benefit in this project.
Hmm.
So where you can execute your lease option strategy and sell them individually, and potentially, depending on how the build out goes, you can start to sell phase one, newly constructed, as the builders move down and execute the different phases of construction. So you're essentially potentially,
We could say we could purchase we could sell lots, and then the person could build the type of property that they want to be able to build instead of one that's already built. So
correct, correct.
they have
That
the ability to be able to put in um, more of themselves into a particular property.
right, absolutely. But that gives you, as if you're selling as you're building. So that's a kind of a in the weeds part of your exit strategy
It
to
it ex it speeds up the process of selling
yes,
because
absolutely.
properties or townhomes are being sold before they're built.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
let's talk about that process just a little bit because when someone comes into a new developed property and you're just looking at lots, you can pick out the lot that you want because of the view or where it's going to be at, in a cul-de-sac, so it's a little bit quieter or
Right.
different things along that. So it gives the buyer more options.
Right.
But once that person zeroes in on the particular lot and they want to be able to build there, they get that lot and that house or townhome under contract at that point in time, and they put a deposit down, right?
Correct.
It, might be what, 5% or 10% or something along those lines, but it cements the contract with funds.
Mhm.
And then they have more of a, well, that property is being built, they have more say in what goes into that property. If they wanted all hardwood floors instead of carpet and different things along those lines, if they wanted different kinds of appliances or anything, all these are what would be an upcharge
Right.
because properties are. are designed and put and certain things are done for the design of that property. But when someone purchases that property, they have options to be able to upgrade the flooring and different things. It's going to add value to the property itself.
Absolutely. You're essentially acting as a single family home builder
Hmm.
at that point where your budget identifies a certain finish out, and anything above that becomes additional and a revenue source for you, an additional revenue source for you. Um, so that's a that's a great and yeah, it's kind of as we talk this out, that's another great way to add into the
Revenue
exit.
stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, because you're getting paid in a different way at that point in time. You're getting paid for the upgrades that can be done.
Right,
I'm under the impression, hey, there isn't an upgrade that we can't get done for you. If
right.
you
Well, absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to pay for it, we'll do it for
Right,
you. You want
right,
to have a granite marble
right,
countertops, no problem. We can get
right,
granite counter. This is how much it's going to be.
right,
You want
right,
to have a sprinkler system put in? No
right,
problem. We can put in a sprinkler system that we can do that for you.
right.
You want to have astroturf in the backyard? Yeah, well, sure, we could do that one for you too. You want to have wrought iron fence? We can do that for you too.
Absolutely,
You want to
absolutely.
build a playground in the backyard for the kids? Yeah, we can do that for you too. It's going to cost you money to do it,
Right,
but we want you to be comfortable in the house that you're going to be moving into.
right,
And
right,
then when that property is completed, then the property closes
right,
for a set price, right?
right,
And just like any other. So we've sold the property with the upgrades, which increases the price of the property itself
right,
and the appraised value of the property.
right.
They're getting the house that they want. We're getting a better
It's a
asking
win-win.
price for us, when we close and then we get paid. The only question in that I have is, so when we have someone that comes in like that and we've sold a lot and they want to be able to build that house, does the builder build that thing right then? Does he start on that project right then? Or does he do it in a phase? Because
That's a that.
we had this discussion with the actual seller of the property,
Mhm.
which is also another partner is the builder and developer. But I had the option of being able to build the properties in phases, like three
Right.
phases, or do them all at the same time.
Mhm.
Well, I chose to do them all at the same time because one, you can get better material costs because you're buying in bulk at that point in
Bulk.
time. But it cuts out what about 8 to 10 months uh, out of the exit strategy. So I wanted to be able to turn this property over in say 3 years or so, 2.5, 3 years. So in order to do that, we need to build quick, get them all built. So I
Eh,
don't know. I suppose I could go to the builder and say, hey, we sold 4 lots, so these four or five lots that we just sold are going to be the next five that go up,
eh,
wherever that's going to be at.
I think we just came up with another another area we need to research.
Yeah,
Um,
a little bit.
yeah, yeah. That I guess to add to that, the if a lot of what drives builders to do it in phases is because they're getting their funding via the conventional banking institution, which pretty much aligns with doing draws, in a phased build out.
Hmm.
And the fact that in your case, you're dealing with private money that gives you the additional flexibility to do the full build out. It kind of changes the whole dynamics of of how you approach building.
Hmm.
Um, versus phases doing complete build out. So that's huge.
Gives you the flexibility to be able to to change the scope of the project just a little bit. Still getting to the end stage.
Correct.
The builders might have to move over one street to be able to start working on some new buildings because I heard in the discussion that we had that uh, they don't do all of them, start construction on all of them at the same time. They'll do, four or five, and then they'll
Right.
do another four or five, and then they'll do another four or five because,
Right.
they don't have crews galore, right?
Right.
To be able to do that scale of construction.
Yeah. Yeah. And so to tie that back in with the brokerage, it that will require agents to not only be selling pre-built, or we can call them spec units, but also sales agents to uh, to work with the buyers to say, okay, this is kind of our standard offerings to offer, if you're looking to buy, these are, and this is the upgrades that, this sheet over here is upgrades. Or if you want, potentially customizable upgrades, that's over here, beyond that. Um, so that it takes on an additional role for agents to walk. It's almost like ideally you may need a furnished unit to be the model home,
Yeah,
so
I already
that
thought about that.
okay. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
uh
we're gonna have a few model homes that are fully furnished,
yes,
and so people can walk through the model because people don't have a visual eye.
yes,
You
yep,
know, they kind of know what they want, but most people when they're looking at properties, they need help with the visualization of it, right?
correct.
So we know as professionals in real estate that when you walk into a home that's vacant versus a home that is fully furnished and looks like it's home, that home is going to sell before the vacant one
Right, right,
because people can't visualize in their minds what that property is going to look like.
right,
But when
right.
you have a model home, in this case, that is fully furnished and looks like a family is there already,
Yes,
um, they can get an idea of what this house is going to look like
yes,
when it's completed,
yes, yeah,
or what it's going to look like as they're walking through a vacant one. What it's going to look like
yeah,
when it's furnished. And
yeah.
I don't furnish things shabbily. I furnish things pretty nicely because people want to have nice things, right? Down to the little knickknacks.
Yeah, absolutely. That has huge value, the finish out. And you may also have some upgrades, as part of the finish out of these model homes to show, because that, as we all know, and like you said,
Well,
people
that's a
see.
that's a sales thing at that point in time, right?
Right,
Because the model homes aren't going to be the scratch.
right,
This is with the carpet. The model
right,
homes are going to be with the luxury vinyl panel flooring.
right, right,
It's going to be with the granite tops. It's going to
right,
be with the really nice light fixtures and
right,
window treatments
right.
and the shades that automatically close and open and
Absolutely.
everything.
Right,
Because that's when you're upselling at that
right,
point in time.
right.
And you don't have to say a word, right? You
It,
don't you don't have to say a word.
it,
You have trained sales agents that go in. They know they can push this button and the people will see the blinds automatically closing and opening.
right,
And you know what Mrs. is gonna say, honey, I like that.
right, right,
And
right,
and and,
right.
and the husband goes, oh,
Yeah.
because he
Well,
knows he knows he has to have that thing now, right?
right.
He
And,
needs
and,
it.
and well set up, and well staged real estate will sell itself. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
And when they get back in the office in the office for the brokerage and they say, well, which lot, we know which lot you like, which house do you want to have on that? and you want the one with all the upgrades, we can give you a price for that. Yeah, that's the one we want. We
That's
want the Rolls Royce. Yeah,
right,
give it to
right,
us.
right. That is yeah, so that goes back to these the brokerage needs to have all that skill set, all those skill sets to not only be
Have to
selling
have the tools. They have to
and the
have all,
tools.
they have to have the tools in their toolbox to be able to sell the property the way that you want them to be sold. Because
Absolutely.
me as the owner of the project, I want to be able to sell that property for as much as I can.
Right.
If
Right.
I can sell that property for what, 350,000, just scratch,
Right.
with like no upgrades.
Right.
Well, with the upgrades, I might be able to sell that property for 405 or
Right.
410,
Right. Yeah,
because those upgrades are adding value to the appraised value of that property.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
what does it, Bill, tell us what appraised value to a property does for the other lots that are in there.
Absolutely. I mean, there are different ways you can determine appraised value.
We could set our market just
That,
in that subdivision, right?
and that's what I was going to say. There's an income-based approach and there's a comparative approach. In this case, it'd be more comparative, and you're comparing to your other units in your development. And yes, that's once you start to drive up through, customer uh, upgrades and finishes, that will over time drive up the overall comparative uh, value of the overall development. So that's a huge because at selling, a sale will require an appraisal, and
Hmm.
that appraiser is going to look at the comparisons, and he's going to look at the comparisons that are closest to the property, the subject property, which is going to be in the development.
Hmm.
And so, yes, that's the perfect way to to help drive up that appraisal, which will support a loan, if the client's looking to get a loan on a property. So absolutely.
So in the exit strategy, since we're talking about exit strategy here, this whole show's on exit strategy now, which is a good thing. But um, so when we're talking about exit strategy and we're talking about how to be able to get a set price for that exit strategy, um, we in the strategy then would be in the very beginning, we want to one have those custom houses, those models
Yes,
for people to uh, go through and to see because of their visualization. We want to help them and point them in the right direction where we want them to go.
right, right,
We want to take them around the development and show them the lots and let them pick out their lots, and so that they can see the area and everything. And then we're going to bring them back into the model homes
yes,
so that they can look and see this is a model home here that has some of the upgrades. It's
right,
got all the flooring. It's got the good flooring. It's got the regular countertops, maybe a little bit of an upgrade in the countertops, and it's got the window treatments, regular window treatments. And then you take them to the next one that has the whole 9 yards,
right.
right?
Absolutely.
It's got the granite countertops. It's got the granite. It's got the really nice fixtures. It's got the raindrop shower heads. It's got
Yes.
the window treatments that automatically go up and down. It's got the alarm system in it. It's got
Wi-
everything. It's got the keypad and
It's
everything.
got the clawfoot tub in the master.
It's got the clawfoot tub. It's got everything that you want to be able to really upsell to the customer, because when they start buying that particular property in a lot, and then when that closes, there's one comparable.
Right.
And say they don't do that one, but they do the other one, well, that's another comparable.
Yes.
And I think in an appraisal, they look for at least three, right? Three
At least three.
comparables.
Yes. Yes.
So the goal would be within the first 5 to 10 properties, we have at least 3 or 4 of those properties that are the upgrades.
Yes, the challenge is always in that the first few units that sell because there are no comparables in the development. So that's going to force the appraiser to go out, and sometimes
Outside the
yes,
development.
and
Yeah.
sometimes they go the wrong direction. But I think, that's just initial. But once we get units sold inside, then there's no reason to go inside because they need, as I mentioned before, they need to find the closest comparables. So once we get sold in the development, that's when we start to develop traction. And yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that approach is essentially what a typical home builder does. They'll have three or four model homes. They'll have one kind of semi basic, and then of course they're going to have the Cadillac or the Mercedes version, build out with all of the upgrades. And that just shows the stark, or presents a stark contrast that a client sees who may not be able to visualize, like you said, but once they see that, that speaks volumes,
Mhm.
and can lead to more sales at that at the Cadillac version. Um, but yeah, that as we sit here and kind of define out, yeah, we're talking both exit strategy, but that that brokerage is going to have need the tools and the skill sets to be able to handle lease options, direct sales, direct sales with upgrades,
Mhm.
kind of the whole gamut.
Yeah,
Whole
because
gamut.
we've even talked about that, with doing that was my first part of the exit strategy when I was developing this was to lease purchase option.
Right, right.
Because since a bank doesn't own the properties, there's no liens on the properties. So as the owner of the properties, I can seller finance
Right.
those properties. So it doesn't matter to me, if they go out and they get a loan from a lender that they want or anything, we can recommend a lender and we can get points back,
Right.
for the recommendation, another
Mhm.
income stream, right?
Mhm.
Or they can stay with us and we can sell or finance it and give them a better rate. And
Ooh,
and
yes.
and I'm getting the interest off of that seller financing every month revenue stream. Um, and at the end of 5 years, they can refinance it, go somewhere else, and then I get paid off. Or I can take 4 or 5 of my seller finance loans, after a year or so of steady payment, and I can sell those uh, mortgages off to someone else and get cashed out that way.
I-
And all at the same
Interesting.
time,
Yes. Yes.
I'm increasing the revenue that is being made for the project, the overall ROI, return on investment, not only for myself, but for my private investors that invested in the project.
So to add on to that, so we started off, you just identified, separate from the brokerage, which is from a structural perspective, that's one entity. Another entity is this lending aspect of the business, which would
Mhm.
be its own entity separate from the brokerage.
Mhm.
That absolutely, as well as uh, property management and probably two others that we haven't identified yet.
Yeah, well, we were talking that one of the first units that's going to be there is going to be the office for one of my uh holding companies that's going to be the property manager.
Yes,
And the other side of that townhome, which is another townhome, is going to be the office for the brokerage to be
yes.
able to take people around and to bring people in and get them under contract when they get done. And then you're going to have another 2 or 4 units that are going to be totally furnished.
Right.
Those are going to be the model homes. You've
Right.
got your standard, you've got your first upgrade, and then you've got your Rolls Royce, the one that
Uh,
has everything really nice
uh,
that
uh,
everybody's going to want.
and it's almost maybe in the as part of the brokerage, you have someone that is representing the lending arm. So if they come back from the tour, they're ready to go. They're a hot buyer. How are you going to, they start to write, yes,
Well,
we want this.
you know how car dealerships do that, right? When you go in to buy a car, so when you're talking about building an empire and being able to structure things, you start to think about these different avenues that you can go down. But what you start to really want to look at, you want to look at models that work.
Yes.
And in this particular aspect that we're talking about here with the financing end of things, a car dealership is a model that works and has worked for decades,
Yes.
decades and decades. And what that is when people come in and they get on the type of car that they want to be able to buy, they start to negotiate the price and different things along those lines. And when you agree on the price and you get the signature on the sales agreement, or in our case, the contract, at that point in time, they have somebody that is authorized to be able to run your credit. And then they turn you over to who? The finance department.
Right. Right.
Because the finance department is the department in the dealership that's going to get you uh, funded.
Right. Right.
They're gonna get that vehicle for you. It's in their best interest to be able to get that vehicle for you. It's in our best interest to be able to get that property for you.
Right.
So we could develop our own financial uh, department to be able to find the funding for you for that property.
Right.
That goes back to consulting and brokerage
Yes.
and being a broker. Because you could have another office in the real estate office that
Yes.
is the broker. Okay, we're going to turn you over to our finance department. They're going to get you funded.
Uh,
It's their
uh,
job to be able to find you a loan
uh,
at a good rate,
and
and
that's
we're
the
gonna
key.
and we're gonna give you options.
Right. And that's the key point, especially in this high interest rate environment. That is a plus to the buyer. If it's set up correctly to so that they benefit and you as the business owner benefit as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, definitely coupling the financing business structure with the brokerage is key because it
It
keeps
keeps
the
them there,
yes, it keeps them there, but it keeps the process efficient so they don't have to leave and go get in the car and
one
go
stop
from bank.
shop,
Right, absolutely. You're providing convenience.
vital services.
Yes, yes. The whole process chain uh to that, if you take that thread a little bit further, you can also look at, what are all the additional things they need? They need funding, they'll need insurance.
Hmm.
Uh
So that's where all that comes into, and I just want people that are listening to this or watching. Um, I have not even thought about this end of things yet, and that so this is growing as we're talking. Because we were just talking about bringing the brokerage in. Now it's expanded to being able to have our own finance department to be able to help our potential clients or customers to be able to be have the convenience of having someone else do the work for you, because that department isn't going to be getting paid by the customer. that department will get paid by who it is that um, is going to do the loan for that property,
Right,
or from the real estate agent that's going, or the insurance agent that's going to be doing the insurance on it.
right,
You know, and we'll do all the legwork for you. We'll give you the options. We'll give you the get you the best price you can. Of course, you can always go and do things yourself. By all means, you can do it, do everything yourself. But we want to be able to give you the convenience to be able to let us get you the best price we can because of the connections we have.
right, right. And just to your point, I think, we both have, which is the volatile part. Yeah, we jokingly say it, the volatile part. In business, the ability to create and bring your creations to life
It's a
is,
lot
to
of
me,
fun, isn't it?
that's at
It's
the heart of all of this.
mhm.
Um, and that is a skill set. I don't know if it can be taught, but it can be refined. And as you know, as we discussed, a lot of this is we're discussing in real time, and it's just us feeding off of each other because of that creativity from a business standpoint that allows this picture to come, and it be painted.
Now,
And I love that.
yeah, now let me share in uh, one thing, and we talked about this in episode one, and being able to have a mentor to be able to talk things through. That's exactly what this is.
Right,
This is, you have a project and you're going to your mentor, you're talking with them about, you know, how to be able to get things structured, how to be able to do things. These are things you can't learn in a book.
right, right.
These are things you cannot learn in a seminar. You can start to learn the idea of them in
Yes,
a seminar or in a workshop, but you have to have someone that you can talk to that's in the industry, that has the experience, to be able to help you develop the empire, to develop the structure, to develop the project so it works.
right,
And it does it's successful,
right.
because there's nothing more fulfilling than to be someone's mentor and you've walked through that whole project with them and you see that project be successful. There's nothing more fulfilling to a mentor
Yes,
than seeing someone be successful. We
yeah,
want people to be successful. That's why it's important to be able to connect with us,
yes,
to be able to go to our workshops, to be able to go to our seminars, to be able to be on the show and to ask questions and to do the things that you need to be successful. You need to have the tools in your belt, in your toolbox, to be able to be successful. Well, you know, this could be one of your tools in your
absolutely.
toolbox. You know,
Yeah,
being, you know, having a consultation with us is an opportunity to be able to help you be successful. Everybody wants to be successful, you know, but this kind of communication and this kind of brainstorming to be able to put that structure together, there's no price that you can pay for something along those that's a um that's gold at the bottom of
it
the ocean,
it
right?
it is. It really is. It's gold. And in fact, once we get off here, I was just thinking this is something. And then you start to think ahead for future projects, and then you say, well, this we develop a blueprint based on this project that can be as-
Implemented. Yeah.
across multiple projects.
Well,
Uh, and the key point here, there's no right or wrong way to do it, which that in alone does scare some people because it's not this is, as we alluded to in past episodes, this is the we talk about Avenue A and Avenue B, where one path is laid out for you. This is the path that is not paved. It is create on the fly. And that is scary to some people.
It can be rough.
Yes,
It has its holes that you have to go around. You don't want to go through them because that causes damage, right?
it does. It
And
causes a lot of damage.
that causes a lot of damage and it costs time. You
Yes,
know, I'm not saying that it's not an easy road. Um, and I'm just being upfront and transparent with people and say it's not an easy road, but the rewards that come from it are immense.
it-
I mean, and it goes back to that why that we
yes,
talked about in episode one. What are you getting into real estate for?
right,
What is your purpose?
right,
What is driving you to be able to do that?
right,
And you know, and as I shared in episode one, when I first got started, I was going down that Avenue A, you know, because that's the way that everybody wanted to be able to go. And that's the way that it worked for people.
right,
It was replicatable,
right.
right? It
Absolutely.
was duplicatable.
Right,
It could be duplicated
right,
over and over and over and over again.
right,
That's the term that you hear from that. You have to be able to duplicate it. Well, this Avenue B can be duplicated too, not to cookie cutter type
right,
duplication,
right,
but the process
right.
of it from
Yes,
A to B
right,
to close.
right,
Uh, it 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 goes in that direction. It can be duplicated. You know, the advantage though in taking Avenue B is that the growth that comes from that doesn't even compare to Avenue A because with Avenue A, your growth is stunted.
I agree. Yes,
With Avenue B, your growth is unlimited.
right. That's yeah. That I agree 100%. And I can talk for hours on that. But I think, Dave mentioning just this process with a good mentor is the key to going down Avenue B.
You have to have
Uh,
it.
yes,
There's
yes,
you can't do it on your own. I would say the odds of failure going down Avenue B without a mentor is above 90%.
I would agree. I would agree.
I mean, you won't make it.
It, it, it-
I'm not saying that there isn't somebody out there that could make it. That's why I said above 90%,
right,
meaning there are probably some people that could do it on their own without having a mentor.
right.
But I'll tell you, a mentor makes it much easier.
Absolutely. And you look at Avenue A, which is, and there's no right or wrong, but Avenue A, you're going to have more from an educational perspective, more formalized education, whereas Avenue B, this is more informal, other, alternative educational approaches such as mentorships and consultations. So it requires a different way to go down this path. You need a different type of education.
Mhm.
Uh, but yes, it is. It is, as Dave mentioned, you become what I call the person you were meant to be. You use all of your skill sets versus being stunted to some degree going down Avenue A. And initially, that is scary, but it is so fulfilling and so rewarding that you look at the struggle as just a little blip in the road.
Mhm.
Um, because you're focused on the bigger
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. You're gonna have struggles,
Right.
right? You're gonna
Right.
have you're gonna have disappointment. You're gonna have struggles. You're gonna have things going sideways, upside down, and everything.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
the thing about that is, and we talked about this in episode two, those things make you stronger.
Right.
And you have to be able to go through those things because we wouldn't be, as mentors, we wouldn't be effective to help someone else if we hadn't gone through those situations.
Right.
We're able to say, okay, well, let's take a step back. Let's look at what the issue is, and let's develop a strategy to get through it.
Right.
There's always, problems aren't end alls. Problems are steps to move forward to success.
You become, you look at problems as, instead of looking at as a negative, your first thought should be, okay, this incident occurred. How do I problem solve my way through this?
Hmm.
That's and that changing your brain to think like that does take time, and that's where a good mentor can help you, rather than, when the first negative thing happens, you fall apart.
Or
You start
quit.
to, yes, or quit. You start to develop this tool, this, muscle in your that says, okay, this happened, this event occurred. What are my options for getting through this? And that is part that helps build your character. And that is goes into what we talk about building up your skill sets and as a person. So um yeah, that could be, that's the exciting part of it. And watching people grow is very rewarding.
Very rewarding, and I look forward to being able to have some people under my wings. Just like Bill does. Once I have a couple people under his wings to be able to guide him through the process. Who knows? You know, one of those people, or maybe two of those people, are the people that we have that work for us in the brokerage.
Right,
To be able to start doing the same kind of thing. And this show, Scott Patrick show, is going to be on site at this location a number of times and doing shows out there live to be able to say, okay, this is the place. Here we go. We're breaking dirt today.
right,
And hey, this is the first five here. This is going to be the property management office. This is going to be the brokerage
right,
office. This is going to be the first town, the first model home and everything. You're going to
right,
be able to see all those things on the show here
right,
because it's a progressive thing. And you can't get you can't get that in a book.
right, right.
It's a podcast that is like a reality TV show,
Right,
right?
right,
Next week, I'm going down to Grand Cayman. And I'm buying a couple properties down in Grand Cayman. So I'm doing a show down in Grand Cayman next week. Tune in, and you're going to be able to start to see how that one starts to fall out. That's another one of my projects. It's my resort package project. We have properties down in Port Aransas in Texas. Bill has a townhome down there. I have a condo unit down there. We're talking about maybe buying 4 or 5 lots and building 4 or 5 homes down there to expand that. A couple properties in Grand Caymans, a couple properties in the Bahamas, and a yacht that goes from Port Aransas to the Grand Caymans to the Bahamas and then back.
In
Um,
the small jet.
well, yeah, the and the jet. Uh, but we want to be able to. I'm building an empire. I'm building a vision, and to be able to see that start to come true. It takes um, part of my empire to be able to do that. I had to go out and find the individual investors that are willing to put up the the millions of dollars that project is going to take, or this project is going to take that we're talking about. And things like that just don't happen overnight. It takes a lot of work to be able to do that. But hey, I'm here to be able to help you. I help Bill. Bill helps me. We help each other be able to do different things. That's how things get done. You can't do everything by yourself, even
Right.
though you know, some fibers of your existence say, "Hey, I can do this by myself." Uh,
It,
let me give you a little bit of reality. It's very difficult, and you're adding difficulty into an avenue that's already difficult
right.
to
Right.
be able to do.
Right.
So why would you want to do that?
Right. Yeah.
May
It
take Avenue B, but try to make Avenue B as smooth as you can.
right. And that's done through collaboration. Dave and I, we're building separate empires, but
But we're
you know,
working in conjunction
right,
and at points because Bill needs my help to be able to do some things. I need Bill's help to be able to do some things. And that's how partnerships and collaboration works.
right.
You know, and I it would be difficult to do things.
So,
Some of the things that Bill wants to be able to do, it would be difficult for Bill to be able to do that on his own because he just doesn't have the skill set to or the connections to be able to do it.
right,
But he knows me,
right,
and I have the connections to be able to do it. So
right.
we work together because by helping Bill, that helps me, and by Bill helping me, you know,
We,
it goes around.
and we both
Life is
advance.
circular, and
Right.
everything comes back around to you.
It sure does. And so, collaboration, and then the other piece of that is, as we mentioned before, is mentorship. Uh, those two pieces are part of the ingredients to going down Avenue B. Be open to collaborating and be open to finding a good mentor and seeking a guidance. And that's not to say that you won't encounter issues, but that's you will be better equipped and you will have guidance to help you do the storms essentially because you will have them.
Yep, yep, I agree. Yeah. So,
But
so next week, Grand Caymans, and maybe the week after that, we might be on site, maybe showing the woods because
yes,
that thing is just nothing but trees right now.
right.
They
That's gonna be
haven't
exciting because let's real quick. They so far they've heard us discuss, but once you now on site you're applying what we discussed into reality, and that is a huge. People talk all the time, but when you connect the talk to actually, okay,
action.
that's that speaks volumes, and it lets it'll your audience will start to see, okay, this is not just this is reality, so that's going to be the fun part of it.
That's gonna
Not
be a
that this
lot
is
of
not
fun.
fun, but that's the fun
Yeah,
part of it. Yeah,
that'll be a lot of fun. You know, when the time comes, and you know, this is the show in this episode is my we can go back to it. When the time comes, and I do have that yacht, people, guess what? There's a show for the Scott Patrick show on that yacht. Trust me on that.
right,
When
right.
the jet comes in, trust me, there's going to be a show with the Scott Patrick show on that jet.
Eh,
Because just like Bill said, you know, these are parts of the vision that I have for my empire, and I'm sharing those visions when they come into to reality.
right,
You know, because I'm constantly thinking about them. I'm
right.
constantly going, you know, hey, this is going to happen. You know, it might not happen in the time frame that I want it to be able to happen, but it's going to happen. And those are going to be fun days.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the fact that you're putting your vision out in public, that alone scares a lot of people. They,
Scares them. Scared me.
right, right. But
I was like going, do I want to do a podcast with this face? Come on. I don't know.
but
But you know, it could be beneficial for
it
somebody. And I was mentored that it would be a great idea to be able to do that and get it out there because it will help other people to move down the avenue, Avenue
Right.
B,
Yeah.
because that's all it is. It's
Right.
being able to help people and put it out there.
Right.
And as I get older and everything, I look pretty good back then.
And when it does happen, we're going to clip this segment and play it, integrate it in future videos because it shows the connection, having a vision, verbalizing it, and then go taking the steps to bring it to life. And
Yeah,
that's really what it's about.
it's in the cards.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's it's in the cards. So it's been a great show. We've talked about a lot of different things. Basically, continuing on the theme of building your empire, structuring it, and as those projects start to come in, to be able to build that empire out and fill it out, to be able to get you multiple streams of income every month that from the same project.
Right.
So just as we were talking today, hey, we're talking about a finance arm now, and we're talking about in the brokerage. We're talking about one of my companies being the management company of the development, having an office there, doing the management end of things. And then the model homes and everything. I thought about the model homes, but we just kind of built that out a little bit on the show today, and how that can benefit and bring in additional revenue stream with the upgrades that can be done in selling those lots and those properties to people through the brokerage.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So good show, and look forward to next week down in the Grand Caymans and doing a remote show down there. First remote show. There we go. But that'll be a lot of fun. I'll bring my microphone with me on the plane.
I wish I could be there with you.
Bill has a property down in the Grand Caymans already, so he kind of beat me down there. But he gave me the vision to be able to get down there. So, but it was, what was it a year ago that we were talking about the having properties in Grand Caymans
Yes.
and the Bahamas and everything, and
Yes.
now I'm going down, and because I have the funding now I'm going down to buy the properties down there, and they're good properties, boy, let me
Yes.
tell you.
I can't wait to see
They're
the
they're they're nice. They're right on the beach. Some of them have 180 to 250 private beach right on the ocean, right on the Caymans, in Bordentown. Some of them are in Bordentown. A couple of them that I'm going to look at are in Rum Point,
yes. Yes.
and I think one or two of them's on the northeast end of the island.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think the northeast and the southeast end of the island are the more private parts of
Well,
the island.
Rum Point is too. I love Rum Point. I really like that area. It's very Georgetown is more touristy. The cruise
Yeah,
ships
I
come
don't
there.
have any in Georgetown. I'm kind of staying away from
Yeah.
the tourist end of Grand Cayman, and kind of staying off in the peripheral areas,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
because it gives it a little bit more privacy. It gives it little bit thing. I want to share this one thing. I was talking with someone last night, and one of the things I found out down in Grand Caymans, they don't have Uber and they don't have Lyft down there. I have to rent a car, which is fine. I don't have a problem with renting a car. But it got me thinking. Okay, so here we go. It got me thinking,
Right.
and I was like going, I should, since I'm going to have two or three properties in Grand Caymans, I should have a chauffeur business. I should buy a really nice Maybach Mercedes, and I should have it parked and hire a chauffeur that goes to the airport and picks up my guests that rent the properties, short term rent the properties, pick them up at the airport, bring them to their property, bring their things in, and you tell me when you want to go, where you want to go, and I'll be here for you.
I
And if I
it
need to buy two of those Maybach Mercedeses, I'll buy one for each property and a chauffeur that goes with that property to be able to take my guests everywhere they want to go. And you know, the thing that came into my head when I started thinking about that thing, and that this is going to be a reality. Trust me on this. That is going to put my properties above everybody else's property.
so
Because the customer service
yes,
that I'm going to supply to the
right.
people
Is
of my properties is going to be next to none. And
right.
it goes to the jet and the yacht.
Yes.
Because when
Yes.
that yacht docks
Yes.
off the coast of Grand Cayman,
Right.
and they take the skiff in,
Right.
my chauffeur is going to be there to meet them to take them to their property.
I love
When
it.
when that when that
Yes.
jet lands
Yes.
at the airport there in Grand Cayman, my my chauffeur is going to be there to pick my customers up and take them to the property.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's going to be their chauffeur for their entire stay that they're going
I,
to be there.
I love
It's worth paying somebody to
it.
be able to do that.
It is, that is
It's a
a great,
convenience
yes,
that is going to make my properties more in demand than everybody else's property that's in the rental pool in Grand Cayman.
uh, 100%
They're going to understand who Texas Property Developments is.
complete end-to-end service. Absolutely. And the
End to
funny
end.
thing is, and this shows that our brains somewhat think similar. So when we purchased our property, that was, I was thinking a similar thing. Probably not the Maybach, more of you may want to consider probably like a van as well too, to show for people. But I was thinking a similar thing because that's how you provide service.
Mhm.
Um, Now you got me thinking, if you buy, let's just say you buy over in Room Point. So that's kind of, there's a lot of people go from Room Point, they want to go over to Georgetown for shopping. So the first place they go is Kamana Bay, which you'll go to. Um, and so there's a ferry. There's a need for potential ferry services. So keep that in mind,
Yeah,
because that's yet
we're going to
another.
redevelop the Grand Caymans.
So, so yeah, yeah, it's and then I'll end with this because I could keep going. At Rum Point is where they also have this there's a starfish point where there's these big starfish just
Mhm.
sitting on the floor of the water as you're walking through it. And so one time we're just there in about waist deep water, and this boat pulls up, and it was a restaurant that is in Georgetown, but they had a water version of it. And so everyone gathered around the little boat and they started taking orders. And so my brain goes into overdrive. What are the possibilities that I can? That's just one business. I said, what? That's just great service. Like all those people in the water just gravitated to this. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome.
Mhm.
That's a great idea.
That's somebody that thinks down Avenue B.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then another quick one is we were in Florida. Yeah, Florida somewhere. And they had those little tiki hut, little, power tiki huts.
Hmm.
I've seen those in Florida, but not in Grand Cayman. So then I start, so my brain goes into overdrive when I see something because I start to automatically go down okay, what are the possibilities? What can I do with that? How can I monetize that? And how can I bring it to people to service people? And it becomes, that's like default thinking.
Hmm. Yep.
So it's just interesting you bring that up about the transportation that those are similar thoughts that I had as well. So yeah, it's great minds think alike.
Yeah. Yep. And I suppose, I'll be a citizen of the Grand Caymans. I guess because I'm buying property down there that has a particular value or something
Yes.
along those
Yeah.
lines. So I guess as a dual resident of the Grand Caymans, I'll have to have a business there. I'm
I-
gonna have to set up a bank account there anyway,
Right.
and a business. So might as well set up a business there that does the chauffeuring and everything. And guess what? Another stream of revenue coming in.
Right. Right.
For the resort package is a chauffeur service down there.
I-
So that can be when that property isn't rented out. Hey, maybe one of the other owners down there wants to be able to utilize our chauffeur service. Guess what? We get first dibs though.
That's right.
You
That's
can
right.
you can have the leftovers, when we're not working, when my properties aren't being used, but you can, yeah, we'll help you out with chauffeur service. Guess what? Yeah, I like that thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can make the chauffeur service auto, boat, and air.
yeah, auto boat and air. Yeah.
Right.
Well, one of the properties that I'm looking at has a huge dock
Hmm.
on it.
Okay.
I forget how long it is. The Evolution property is I think it's 200 feet. I think
Okay.
a
So it
200
probably
foot.
goes out to where the water's deep enough to get some of the larger.
Well, you can get a small boat in there. You wouldn't be
Right.
able to get a yacht in
Of
there
course. Right.
because of the coral reef
Right.
area.
Right.
But you could get a smaller prop boat in there, a skiff.
Right.
Probably you could get in there. Um, but yeah, tie up a boat. You do my own boat service. I take my guests. I have my own captain and can take my guests out on their own private excursion. And it's an upcharge to be able to have that service
Right.
and to do it. It'll be cheaper than doing it somewhere else.
Right. Right.
And gosh, we can do a snorkeling trip with a chill and grill
Right.
a- and
Right.
find some nice spots for you to be able to do some scuba diving somewhere around there. I'm a scuba diver. I
Absolutely.
want to be able to scuba dive. And we've even talked about going over to Little Cayman and Cayman Brock and building a resort over there because they don't have housing over there for the big diving industry that goes to Cayman Brock and Little
Right.
Cayman.
Right.
That's where all the big diving is over
Right.
there, but they don't have housing over there for people. Very
Right.
little.
Right.
So, hey, down the road, maybe,
Yeah.
but that's one of those visions.
It,
Hey, we're developing the whole Cayman Island
it
area.
is, and I, at some point, it'd be nice to do an episode and deep dive on your resource package uh, vision to kind of that'd be a great discussion topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to admit that we're kind of on topic, but we're off topic a little bit. But this is a good show, so I just want to keep going a little bit. But
Yeah.
um, the whole resort package idea came from a discussion I had with sister. My sister.
Mhm.
I call her sister. And we wanted always to be able to have a place where the family could get together once a year, right?
Mhm.
And usually that's in the fall or maybe in the summer or in that. And this year we're having our very first family reunion in Port Aransas at our
Mhm.
properties in Port Aransas. But I was telling sister, I said, next year we could do Christmas in the Caymans.
Ooh.
We could
Ooh.
do the family reunion
Yes.
in October in Port Aransas, and we could do Christmas in the Caymans.
I love that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
who knows, might have the yacht, so we could
Yeah.
do the yacht cruise to Christmas in the Caymans. There you go.
That is awesome. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that whole resort property project came out of just being able to give my family, my sister and family, I suppose it would be extended family, right? Like my sister's kids and, the whole
Right.
family,
Right.
a place where they can come and enjoy
Right.
uh, uh, a certain part of time in a really nice location
Yeah.
that not everybody is able to go to.
Right.
But by having them in the Bahamas, the Grand Caymans, and Port Aransas, I'm able to give the the stay place.
Right.
All you have to be able to do is get there.
Right. Right.
Granted, sister wants me to send the jet.
Right. That to have your family on a yacht from, let's say, Port A to Cayman, that is priceless. That would be that'd be pretty awesome.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's an experience of a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the caption of Texas Property
Yeah.
Development, our sponsor. But
Right. Right.
uh, um,
Right.
experience of a lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, Avenue B can make that happen for you.
Right.
It can make an experience of a lifetime
We,
by being
we-
able to go down Avenue B. You could probably get there too in Avenue A. Might take a little bit longer, but for me, it's Avenue B that gives it to me. Avenue A will give it to some people, and they'll be fine with that, and I'm
right.
great with that.
Right.
As
Absolutely.
as long as they're happy and they're meeting their goals,
Right.
great.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Right.
You always have to be able to have the options to be able to go the way that you want to go. That's the why you want to be in real estate, and the purpose of the why
Right.
is
No, agreed.
what drives you.
You, you, you need to add an Avenue B T-shirt to your store.
Don't have the store up yet. It's still in progress, but I want to have coffee cups and hats, and yeah, the Avenue B. I wish I could pull this up on thing. Bill sent me this the real fork in the road, Avenue A and Avenue B. It's a great thing. That is a perfect T-shirt right there.
But I see a nice shirt in your on your store, maybe with something with Avenue B and arrows and stuff like there's that's a
He, he, you know what? We were talking about the brokerage, right? And I was talking with Bill a little earlier in the week. I said to Bill, I said, I got a name for the brokerage, and he goes, well, what is it? And I said, you aren't going to guess? He goes, no, I can't remember if he guessed. And I said, it's Empire Real Estate. He just started laughing, and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like going, Avenue B Real Estate. I like that. Avenue B Real Estate. I like that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
got a different kind of ring to
Oh
it.
man, that's
Kind of goes with everything.
uh,
Avenue B Real Estate. The
eh,
name isn't going to be taken, that's for sure.
right. And there's a whole story behind it. Oh, that's great. I love that. Yeah. See, like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This whole show has been brainstorming
Right,
101. This is
right,
brainstorming 101. Can't get
right,
this in a book. People
right,
can't get this in a book.
right. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
No, it's been great, and these are like, I'm glad that we're doing these, and because these are a lot of conversations we've been having offline, and now it's in a platform that can potentially and hopefully other people can benefit from. Uh, but yeah, I need to do some concepts for your T-shirt.
I just wrote down on my ThinkPad here, Avenue B Real Estate.
I like that. I like that. I like that.
All right. Thank you very much, Bill, for being on again today, and your kind of permanent structure now, I suppose, on the Scott Patrick Show, which is okay. And
Uh,
I'm looking forward to next week, and maybe get Bill on here again while I'm in the ocean. I won't blot out my background next week.
right.
It'll be ocean view next
That's
week.
right. That's right. That's right. I want to see. I can't. Yeah, that's gonna be. I wish I could be there with you.
Yeah.
But I look forward uh to doing that episode
Yeah, that'll
next
be a
week.
lot of fun. It'll be a lot
Yeah.
of fun. So until next week, thank you very much for being a part of the Scott Patrick Show, and thank you. We'll see you next week.